All right, so we'll talk about messaging protocol in Sirji. So Kedar, why do we need a messaging protocol in Sirji?
Right. So the response from the LLM is often used for using the functionalities exposed by executor. And executor being a program, it needs a response which can be programmatically understood. So we need a structure in the response, and to bring that structure, we have a messaging protocol which mandates that each message given out by the LLM should adhere to one of the response templates, allowed response templates, which uh, we have agreed upon with in the system prompt.
Got it. But why did we have to implement our own messaging protocol? Couldn't we have used function calling?
Yeah, we could have done that. Uh, the only thing is, if we had used function calling, that we would not have had our implementation agnostic of the LLM model provider. So in this case, OpenAI, uh, we wanted our implementation to be completely agnostic of the which LLM provider we are using. So that's why we implemented our own messaging protocol.
Right. Well, can you show us an example of what a message uh, between two agents look like?
Sure. So this is an example message. So all messages will have 4 keys: from, to, action, and body. The from will have the information that the message is coming from which agent. To has the information, it is directed towards which agent. Action is the intent of the message. So in this case, the intent of the message is to invoke an agent. And in the body can have content which is action specific. So in the invocation action, the body will have the purpose of invocation.
Got it. Got it. All right. Maybe I think with the same. I think you are looking at on the right hand side we have the planner pseudocode, right? You can just highlight that. So I think with using perhaps this particular agent, the planner agent, uh, can you maybe walk us through the chain of messages with the LLM?
Right. So first of all, the first message is the system prompt. The system prompt has the information, has the pseudocode as a part of it. And
so essentially, whatever you have on the right-hand side in the YAML file, all of that goes into the system prompt. Plus, there are other things in the system prompt as well, but the entire pseudocode goes into the system prompt.
Yes, exactly. Then the first message, this is the input to the LLM. It is the invocation message. So the another agent, which is Node.js create API coder, it is invoking the Node.js create API planner. Both the agents are written by me. I wanted some part of, so I wanted to divide a big problem into small tasks. And that's why I wrote different agents to handle that particular subtask. So the invocation happens, and in the body of the message, the purpose of the invocation is specified. This particular message and the system prompt goes in the first completions API call. And in the response, what we get is this particular message from the LLM. Now, let's first see what was the first line in the pseudocode. The first line in the pseudocode says that read the problem statement from the agent output folder. Don't pay attention to the second one. The only actionable thing is read the problem statement from the agent output folder. Now, what is this message about? It wants to read from this particular file, problem statement.json, and it is present in the agent output folder. So the response from the LLM is exactly matching the first step in the pseudocode.
And it's just very properly structured as well. Both, I mean, the input message as well as the response from the LLM is very, very properly structured so that it's like a function calling.
Exactly. Then, having received this message is directed to executor. So in the last video, we saw that executor is one of the special agents of Sirji, which exposes certain file system capabilities like read, write, or terminal capabilities like executing commands, etc., uh, to all the agents. So via this message, the LLM wants to use executor's capability of reading a file. And this is what, so this message is forwarded to executor, and executor does the needful. It responds back with the one another message, which has the content of the file which was requested to be read. The Sirji process is coming as a mediator between the LLM. So the LLM response is forwarded to the executor by the Sirji process, and the response from the executor is again coming to the Sirji process. Now, I just want to highlight one more interesting concept which we have called call stacks. So we always maintain what is the current call stack, agent call stack. So for example, in here, this particular agent, API coder, has invoked API planner. So the current call stack would be Node.js create API coder dot Node.js create API planner. So the call stack uh, is a single string joined by dots, and what we join is the IDs of the agents which are invoking other agents sequentially. So we have that information, and using that information, Sirji process knows where to forward the response from the executor. So it got the response from the executor, which is this one, this particular message which is highlighted, and it forwarded it to the correct conversation thread, to the correct agent.
So we could potentially have, one agent calling the other agent, calling the other agent, and still the executor would know where to forward it to.
Exactly. Right. Now, this particular message, right, the response from the executor became input to the LLM. And this is the second API call, the second completions API call, which is made. And in the response, we got another message from LLM, which had an action of question. Now, just before reading this message, let's focus on the right-hand side of the screen and look at the point number 2 in the pseudocode. We have in the point number 2, the point number 2 says that ask Sirji user to provide one or more specific service files to understand the conventions used in writing a service file. And let's call these files as inspiration service files. So the action here matches the point in the pseudocode. The action is question. So in the body of the message, we have the exact text which is to be shown on the Sirji chat. Now this message.
So this is for the end user. This is what in the Sirji chat the end user will see this message.
Exactly. So this response came back from the LLM, and Sirji process, it reads the action. What is the action? Question. What is the to in the message? Sirji user. So whatever messages are directed to Sirji user, those are forwarded to the Sirji chat, and the user sees this message, the one which I have highlighted, in the Sirji chat. And after reading it, let's say I am the user, I give in the response, I give one file, the path to the file, as the question stated, as the question asked me. So the line which I am highlighting came from the Sirji user. Using that content, the message was formatted to respond back to the LLM. And in here, the from is Sirji user, to is Node.js create API planner, and action is response because it was a response to a question. Then another API call is made, and this is, mind you, that this is the third API call, the third completions API call. And in the response of that API call, we get another message from LLM saying, asking for reading these files, which are the paths of which are provided in the body of the message. Now, why this message?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So why this message came? For that, we have to look at the point number 3 in the pseudocode on the right-hand side of the screen. So in the pseudocode, we are writing using the project folder structure, determine the file paths for the following 4 code-based files and read them from the specified purposes. And we are asking it to read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 files in total. And you can match one by one also, or the count will also match. There are 6 file paths which are coming here. And in the pseudocode, we are just mentioning things like open API file, sequence diagram. They got converted to the correct file path because in the system prompt, we have provided the project folder structure to the LLM. So as the pseudocode states, using the project folder structure, determine the file path. So it is correctly doing that and asking executor to read from these files. And this conversation will keep on happening, and all the steps in the pseudocode will execute the same way.
Great. Kedar, this was wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.